It's my good friend, Dr. Joe Congini, Sports Medicine Center, Akron Children's Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Joe. What do you have for us today?
Hey, Ray, I love being on because you're, a really demanding guy with this thing, and you want things that are really timely. How about like 8 o'clock last night, a story that I want to talk about from yesterday? No, it was a story that I really been following and wanted to mention to people again because it's one of those coming back around again. And it's a great story. It's a Northeast Ohio story. You know how I love those. Darren Peterson last night, number 2 draft choice overall, is a local kid. My number one favorite trivia question, I love to joke around with people all year, trivia questions, is I would ask people, even big sports fans, do you guys know that one of the top 2 or 3 college basketball players in the country is from Northeast Ohio? And they would draw a blank on this guy. He kind of flew under the radar screen, Darren did. He's from Canton, but he went to school, to prep school, and then at CVCA, and Coach Futch did a great job with him. And then he last year was with the deep blue, blue bloods at Kansas. And so you had to follow pretty closely to know he was one of the top players in the country. And so we kind of kept an eye on him all year. I kind of had a little heads up because I knew his brother was a defensive end, edge rusher at Hoban, and knew him from that. In fact, his brother, we've got to give a little shout out to him. He's in the LA Rams camp right now, Daryl. But Darren is the first. He had a chance to be the first Northeast Ohio player since LeBron James last night to possibly go number 1 or 2. He went number 2. That was 2003 when LeBron went number 1 overall. So it made history last night. But there was a big sports medicine component to it. People were talking all year about the fact that one of the things that may have hurt him just a little bit in the draft is that he missed a fair bit of time. He missed parts of 11 games in his year with Kansas, and a real big NCAA game he missed a big part of, I'm remembering. And we wondered what was going on. They never really said what the injury was. It was hard for me from behind the scenes to figure it out. And we finally got the word that really one of the things was that he was taking creatine and having issues with the effects of the supplement creatine. And so creatine is making its way back around, which is so amazing. But 25 years ago is the first we came into contact of a lot of athletes using this supplement known as creatine. And it can cause major cramping issues. And Darren Peterson had major cramping issues that caused him to miss parts of games. Creatine is not illegal with any sporting body, with the World Anti-Doping, the NCAA, the Olympic Committee, but schools can't provide or pay for it. Athletes have to use it on their own, and athletes a lot of times, most of the time, should use it in conjunction with their physicians or their team nutritionists and things like that, because there's kind of a narrow range of how it would work and how it might be too much. And a lot of people have a lot of circulating creatine already, Ray, in their bloodstream, and when they then take higher doses, they get into problems and with cramping and other things that I'll talk about in a minute. And that apparently happened pretty significantly to Darren Peterson and really frightened him quite a bit. But it also, a reason I wanted to talk about it today is there's been this renewal in this thing that's been around 25 years, this supplement. In the last year, one study I looked at today, it's growing 26% increase in the use of creatine. And I get more calls nowadays, and the literature shows from adults 35 to 60 or more who are using creatine or asking me if they should be using creatine in this push to be using more protein for adults. And so really that hit me by surprise and surprising to me, and it fit with this story. So what are the benefits of creatine? It increases the exercise ability. It doesn't just make the muscles bigger, but you can exercise more aggressively, and by so doing, you can get increased strength in the explosive muscles and explosive sports. there's questions out there, and people are throwing these around, that it helps with cognitive benefit. It helps with healthy aging. That's the reason guys our age are wanting to ask me about using it. And it would be okay for people to ask their physicians or their dietitians if they are interested in using creatine. But I'm really surprised there's been a big push in the adult population. But obviously, high-level athletes like Darren Peterson are using it too, and the risks are, the side effects are, the biggest worry when it came out 25 years ago, we worried these athletes could be damaging their kidneys. And now we've checked that in great detail, and there seems to be no evidence of kidney problems. But you can get increased water weight, GI distress, sick to your stomach and stuff, dehydrated. But the biggest thing is this full body cramping. And so here I was 25 years ago. I had a couple people, it wasn't just a hamstring or a calf that was cramping, all their muscles, their abs and others. I think I remember talking to you about it 25 years ago, and we were worried about it. And then we kind of figured out how you can rehydrate people and use the right amount. And people have been using creatine, and there's an increased use of it. But full-body cramping caused Darren Peterson to have to go to the hospital once this year in the middle of the season. So it did. A lot of people were looking into that. I wondered what was going on, and behind the scenes just before the draft, I found out it was the use of creatine. So in summary, congratulations to another one of Northeast Ohio's finest, the number 2 pick in last night's draft, Darren Peterson, to the Utah Jazz. Hopefully a great career for him, and hopefully a good career for his brother in the NFL. We have so many great athletes. Congratulations. I'm glad it sounds like they've got this figured out. But for other athletes who might be thinking about using athletes, including adults, speak to your physician, speak to your dietitian before you just go out and start using it on its own.
Yeah, great story and education and insight into creatine, Joe. Really, really well done, my friend. Thanks as always for the visit. We'll do it again next week.
All right. Sounds good, Ray. Have a good week.
You too, my friend. Dr. Joe Congini, Sports Medicine Center, Children's Hospital.